Let's take a moment and talk about college. So for me, a little bit of background about me. I have 2 college degrees, a successful job, good career, and I'm younger than most of my coworkers. So I feel like when it comes to career, I've made like a lot of good choices. Like I feel like I've made a lot of good decisions, a lot of right moves. So the crazy thing is, growing up, I had no idea what I wanted to do in college. I really didn't. I was that person that was like, I have no idea. Like I was waiting to wake up one day in high school and be like, I can't wait to wake up and like know what I want to do for a living. Some people know what they want to do for a living from the second that they are in elementary school. I unfortunately was not one of those people. I never really figured out what I wanted to do in life. So in this video, I'm going to kind of talk about if you're in the same boat as me and you have no idea that you do want to go to college, but you have no idea what you want to do, what you want to major in, or anything like that. This video hopefully will bring you some insight as to what I did, and hopefully it can help you figure out how to figure out what college you want to go to and what you want to major in. So first things first, if you're trying to look for what you want to major in college and you have no idea what to do or what you would like to major in, take a look at what you're good at. Is there anything you're good at? Are you good at math, science, anything like that? Like, find something that you have a talent or a skill in, or a hobby that you actually really enjoy. What if you're like, oh, I only like gaming? Okay, what about graphic design or working for a company that creates games? Like, there's a ton of careers out there, and there's tons of ways to kind of check and see what you're really good at. But most importantly, when you're looking for a major, you want to make sure you pick a major that is in demand. You don't want to pick a career that has downward growth. So what I mean by that is, if your passion is working at a yarn factory, there's probably not a lot of yarn factory jobs that are going to be happening in the future. Depending on politics and stuff and what ends up happening with manufacturing in America, if it remains to be more expensive than other countries like China, Bangladesh, it's not a job that's going to have substantial career growth. So I would stay away from something like that. There's a ton of websites where you can search for like your whatever job it is, growth demand. So like for me, I'm in cybersecurity. That's what I do for a living, is cybersecurity stuff. So when I was looking for what I wanted to do in college, I was looking at career growth for like a building inspector. So like, how many job openings were expected 5 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Is that career path growing? Are there more homes being built? Are there less homes being built? With cybersecurity, are things getting more connected to the internet? Are we getting more technologically advanced as a race? Or are we kind of getting away from technology? Are we not having new computers? Are we kind of like giving up on the internet and stuff like that? Like, there's a ton of different things you can research. So make sure you pick a career that you'll be able to easily get a job in when you get out of college. Once you have searched and done some research long and hard to figure out what your best choice is as far as career growth and something that you're genuinely interested in, you don't want to pick a career that you have no interest in just because it pays a ton of money. It's really not worth it. You need to make sure that it's something that you enjoy. If you want to make a ton of money, you could be a doctor. But if you hate dealing with people, or if you're a germaphobe, being a doctor is probably not the best choice. So that's kind of my advice. Do research, make sure there is demand for what it is you're looking for when you graduate college. You want to make sure that there's going to be more and more and more job openings when you get out of college and 30 years from now. You want to make sure that that's there, that you have that ability to find more jobs if you don't like the one that you have. So moving on to the next thing that you really want to pay attention to is picking the right college. Now, there may be a certain college that your parents went to, or a college that you're like, man, I would really like this college, but let's say it's a private college and you can't get a scholarship to it, and you don't know what your degree is that you want. So you might, okay, let me just do something simple like liberal arts at a private college, because this is a pristine college and it's just so nice and has a great reputation. So let's say you spend $100,000 on tuition on a degree that doesn't go anywhere, that you end up working at Starbucks for the rest of your life and you never pay off your student debt. Like, is that really what you want for your future? I don't think so. So there's nothing wrong with public schools that are in state or even online colleges. I got my bachelor's online, and this was before online schools were really a thing. And for my degree, being in cybersecurity, that was totally fine. Like it really wasn't a big deal to do that online. It wasn't like nursing where you're like having to like stick people with needles. There's some jobs that you can't do online for schooling and stuff. But thankfully, cybersecurity is one of those. So wrapping things up, now you've got your major picked out. You know there's career growth for it, so you're set in the future. And you found a college that's a public college that's not super expensive. And maybe you applied for a couple grants online. That's another thing. There are tons of grants available for those going to college. Even if you come from a rich household, but your parents don't want to pay anything, there's tons of grants that you can get just by writing papers, $500, $1,000, $10,000. Like there's tons of grants out there. Just search college grants and apply for as many as you can. It's a great way to be debt-free going in and getting out of college. So wrapping things up, the final thing that I have is, this goes towards helping with costs. So for me, I got an associate's degree first because I was getting a degree in technology. I was like, I don't want a bachelor's degree. I'll find a job that I don't need a bachelor's degree. Well, I got my associate's degree, was feeling all high and mighty, started applying for jobs, and every job in IT I applied for, it said it requires a bachelor's degree. So I was just like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. It's a little harder to get a job. I ended up getting a job. It was terrible. It was like an IT sweatshop. Would not recommend it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to college. So what I did is I transferred my credits from my associate's degree towards a bachelor's degree. And I was able to complete my bachelor's degree in 2 years. So in the time span of 4 years total, 2 years for my associates and 2 years for my bachelor's, I was able to get 2 degrees in 4 years at half the cost of a 4-year degree, because when I transferred my credits from my associates, it saved me 2 years of tuition at a university. So I was able to save a ton of money. In my associate's degree, I had enough money to where I was able to have that paid off. So I just had the debt from the college, the 4-year college degree. And because of the career field that I picked, which is cybersecurity, where after a couple years you can make upwards of 6 figures, I was able to pay off my student loans within a couple years, which I want to say was somewhere around $25,000, $30,000 once I got done with my 2 years at a public university. So that's one thing I highly recommend if you're trying to figure out how to get a bachelor's degree at a really good price. Get an associate's degree, then find a college that will accept those transfer credits, and then get your bachelor's in 2 years at half the cost. I mean, if I could go back in time, I would not change one single thing about how I got my degree and how much I paid for it and all that kind of stuff. It worked out perfectly, which I'm so glad that it did. So that's all my advice when looking for colleges. Make sure there's demand for it. You can even get a community college degree, an associate's degree, transfer it to a 4-year college, get that at half the price. You get 2 degrees for the price of half of one. And man, it's just wonderful. So if you have any questions about college or anything, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to answer them. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.